Can you whistle, baby? It's Flo Rida here on ICRT FM 100 in the hour of power right now. 7:15 is the time. You also heard from Montel Jordan. This is how we do it on a Monday evening. Thought to pump you up in the 7 o'clock hour. And today we have another special musical guest that's sitting right next to me. I'm very pleased that we finally got a hold of her and to get her on the air because we have some common friends together, and I've been, listening to her music and wanted to see her perform. And in fact, there's going to be some of those chances coming up, which I will definitely attend. Please welcome to the show, Ollie. Hi.
Hi, everyone.
How are you doing?
Hi, I'm Ollie.
Ollie, you got a very unique Chinese name, actually, because that last name, Hang.
Yes, 我姓杭, 杭州的杭.
Is kind of rare in a way, right?
I've actually never met anyone with the same surname.
Aside from your family and relatives, of course.
That's right.
Yeah, so if you do come across one, you're probably like, hey, let's try to build our family tree and see where we connect.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, you're my brother.
Maybe. But she goes by the name Ollie, and her band is just Ollie and your band? Is that how you call the whole team?
Ollie and band.
And band, plus band.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's a very talented singer because not only she's got a... you could do rock, but at the same time ballads. You're great with it, too. But she writes her own music as well.
Yes, I
do. And you're from where before coming to Taiwan?
I'm from Australia. I grew up in Australia.
Ah, Australia.
I was born here in Taipei,
Uh-huh.
and then I moved to Australia when I was 7.
Okay.
We lived in Sydney for a few years, and then we moved to Adelaide.
Okay.
Which is kind of central south Australia.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a few years back, I understand about 4 years ago, decided to... bring your talent back here to Taiwan.
Decided to go after my dream.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk more about, how this all came about and, what interests you and whatnot. But right now, our program has a special segment. We call it call-outs. Mm-hmm. Instead of people calling in for requests, which could, be very routine, we do call-outs. We surprise people.
Okay.
Hopefully people don't expect these calls. And when they answer the phone, they'll be like, what? Are you serious? I'm on the air right now? However, we have sort of a situation here. Okay, let me read out this email from one of our listeners, Tim. Tim says, I'd like to request a special birthday call-out to a girl named Addie. On the 15th, that'll be today, is her birthday. And he writes here that we had a history of being together 3 years ago. Okay. Now, when you hear that, history, that means it's something in the past,
dun,
right?
Dun, dun.
Dun, 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 exactly. Tim says here, 3 years ago, we were together, but I was young, I was foolish, and very poor at communicating in love during that time. Therefore, I lost her. But through these years, I've become more open-minded, and I just really want to wish her a happy birthday and wish her all the best, of course. So I'm not too sure if Addie will pick up the phone, but we'll try here, okay?
Yeah.
So let's look for Addie right now. Dial tone. Okay. Gonna surprise Addie right here with a birthday wish. Now, Tim says that Addie is actually a fan of ICRT, even though she doesn't really speak English well.
Okay.
But we're going to try to get her to speak as much as possible if we get her on the air, okay?
Pick up.
Now, that's a question I want to ask you, because I'm calling this person who doesn't have our phone number, most likely.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a strange number. Do you normally pick up unknown numbers?
Oh no!
It's okay.
Diverted to voicemail.
Okay. I'm gonna try again because normally when you call a second time, the urgency is there, right?
Yeah.
But how about you? Do you usually pick up unknown calls?
I do, just in case it's work related.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Yeah. So
in our field, you never know who's going to be contacting you.
Yeah, that's right.
Sometimes for events, for performances and whatnot, and there are a lot of people out there that are scouting. So so
what
you
if,
would.
Yeah. What if I get a call from you?
Hey, exactly.
Yeah. I'm like,
hey, Ollie, that's a good thought.
Hey, what's up, dude?
All right, well, we're going to try one more time here, see if she picks up the phone. If not, we'll leave a message. And, since this is something in the past, maybe it's more appropriate this way. Because I don't want to put her in the spotlight,
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you talk to your exes?
Oh, that's a really interesting question. That's a really good question.
In fact, most answers are probably, it depends.
Yeah.
您的电话将转接到语音信箱，嘟声后开始计费。如不留言，请挂断。快速留言，嘟声后请按井字键。这是你。
Hello there. Hi, Addie. This is Joseph Lin on ICRT. Someone told me that you actually listen to ICRT quite often, so I hope this comes as a surprise. 希望有惊吓到你哈，因为今天是你的生日，要透过 ICRT 的节目要祝你生日快乐。那这位是谁呢？要祝你生日快乐，是一位叫 Tim。我相信我讲他的名字你就知道了。And here's the message that he has for you. Throughout these years, life has been tough to me, and I've become more open-minded, understanding to compromise with each other. And last year, life has given me the chance to meet you again on the same path again. Also, they hook up again, I guess, at least as far as communicating. I was so happy and cherished the time being with you after a year and waiting. I guess the sparks are not enough to kindle the fire again, and you don't feel the same. Or is it me that I've done something wrong again? I really can't figure it out, but on your birthday, on your special day, I want to wish you a happy birthday and enjoy it every year. P.S. I will always love you. That's sweet. I really wish that I can hear her response, actually.
Yeah.
But hopefully you'll be hearing this message soon, and Tim knows that your favorite band is Maroon 5. And that's why we're going to play this song. It's a remix of Payphone from Maroon 5 for you, okay? 所以 Addie 祝你生日快乐哦！而且今天呢，刚刚提到一个女生，对不对？那是我们今天的来宾，叫做 Ollie。她今天带着她的音乐来，搞不好你等一下有收听到这个 message， 你可以赶快转台，赶快打开收音机听 ICRT 来听听这位新人的音乐，好不好 ？Happy birthday again!
Happy birthday!
Yes. Again, this is Maroon 5 with Payphone, and we've got more from Ollie, our special guest this hour right here on ICRT. Don't touch that dial. FM 100 ICRT, a special request from Tim. Going out to Addie. Happy birthday, and I hope you receive that message soon. 7:26. Time in Taiwan right now. And we have our special guest, Ollie, right here. I was just asking her, what are some of the influences that she might have growing up listening to music, or you know, what kind of music does she usually listen to or is fond of? And you told me country music.
Yes. Well, my parents like country music, so I kind of, you know, when you're little, you just listen to the stuff that your parents listen to.
Right.
So I grew up listening to country, and like I really like Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow.
Yes.
Okay, who is sort of a, you know, a modern rock country artist. Yeah.
She's like an icon.
And a question I want to ask, because normally when we say country music, a lot of times we're referring to American country music.
Yes.
Because I think that's got the hugest base.
Yeah.
But over the years, we're hearing a lot of country music from Australia as
That's
well.
right. Yeah. Keith Urban.
Keith Urban is representative of that. Yeah, I was going to say, right? Along with Nicole Kidman, of course.
Yeah.
You know?
Australian pride.
Yes. How is it? I mean, have you studied like what's different about country music in Australia and country music in the U.S.?
I haven't really studied it as such, because I do think majority of country singers from Australia actually only make it big in the States.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think that's the whole, because the whole culture is there.
It'll be interesting to study why is it that Australia, have such a connection with country music in the U.S.?
Because we got a lot of farms.
Because there's a lot of countryside.
yeah, we got a lot of cows.
As opposed to Canada or England.
Well, Canada actually has a very big, I guess, country music population. And Shania Twain is.
Oh, that's true. That's
true.
They do too.
She's Canadian.
Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
But not England, right? Yeah, I'm focusing on these English-speaking countries.
Yeah.
And I hardly ever hear country music coming out of the UK.
But it's funny because originally country music was immigrant music. So, you've got your Irish influence, your Scottish, British, like all coming to the States and kind of like mixing with local culture.
Right. And there's just a very thin line between folk and country, really.
Yeah.
And when it comes to folk, well, in Europe, that's big.
Yeah.
So it could be a derivative of that. But speaking of country music, funny you mentioned this, and we're going to talk more about this later on, but there is one song, This Is the Moment, that kind of, when I first heard the first few notes, I was like, wait, this is sort of country. isn't it?
Yeah, well, we tried to make a country album, but at the same time, keeping in mind some of the Asian influences.
Right.
So, it's still essentially an Asian album, but, it's also country.
Right.
And trying to bring country music to Taiwan.
Oh. You know what, Ollie, you're on the right track right here, because when I first started at ICRT 15 years ago, 15 years ago.
So you were like 2 then?
3. Thank you so much. We had a American Country Countdown show that was quite popular. And then we discontinued it for, during that time. And we got a lot of responses from listeners here in Taiwan saying, they actually love country music. A lot of Taiwanese love country music. And if you actually listen to some of the country music that exists today, it kind of chimes in well with Mandarin music. As far as the melody goes, a lot of them are similar.
Yeah.
Of course, you got your very, very country with the twangs. Those are very, very like blue roots and country. But when it comes to popular country music, especially ballads, a lot of times you listen to a country song, it's like, 这听起来像中文歌哎，会有那种感觉。
Yeah, 我也这么觉得。
对不对？
对啊。
So I think you're on the right track right here.
Yeah, 所以我觉得大家应该都是喜欢的。
乡村的东西。
对。
你是乡村女孩子。
是。
好，等一下来多多了解你的个性。But right now we're going to take a break. When we come back, we got our entertainment report and music, of course, from Ollie right here on the Jam. Stay tuned to ICRT. Welcome back to the program. And this will be the first track you hear when you pop in Ollie's latest album. 算。Just one. Turn.
Yes.
All right, we'll talk about it after this right here on FM 100 ICRT. FM 100 ICRT. Again, that is Ollie right here, our special guest with Zuan to Turn. It's actually a very positive song lyrically, right?
Yes.
I mean, musically, too. I mean, this is the first song you would hear when you pop in this brand new album, and it kind of gets you going, even though we, before the break, talk about how you're trying to promote a little bit more of country into your music as well. But this song, Zuan, 其实歌词是在讲说现在, in this world of a lot of negativity and how economy is bad.
Yeah.
Got to look at things on the bright side here.
Yeah, when things don't go your way, don't worry. Like, you'll find a way.
Do you really practice what you preach? It's not easy, right?
It's not easy. And, I guess my singing career hasn't been as smooth as, excuse me.
That's okay.
Some of the others. But, like I said, 哭也是一天, 笑也是一天.
You know what? I would kind of disagree, because you actually got yourself a label here releasing your album. And by the way, congratulations to Ollie, because when she released this a few months ago, it got onto the top 10 of the charts,
Thank you.
So, I think you've been very fortunate to actually be able to, promote your passion on not just on the air, but also, wherever you're performing to in Taiwan. Although it's still a rough road.
It is.
But, as with anything, sometimes it's those rough roads that kind of, smooth the edges out for you.
Well, if something is worth fighting for, then, it's worth it. Yeah. If it's not, if you don't have to fight to get it, I kind of question something's value.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about that. I mean, my understanding is you could have gone in a different direction as far as your career path.
Yes. I'm a trained doctor.
That's what I heard.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was training to become a surgeon.
Oh, boy. I was going to ask, what field in medicine are you in? And surgeon.
Yes.
Wow, that's a huge career path.
Cutting people open and sewing them back up.
Right. Yep. Have you really done that?
Of course.
Oh, my goodness. So I mean, people faint easily. You have no problem with that, huh?
Well, I think, I kind of get a little bit excited when I see blood. Not because I'm a vampire, but,
Halloween is on its way, and Ollie is just well prepared for Halloween.
That's right. No, just when I see something like that, straight away my instinct is, okay, where's my thread and needle? Like, I'm going to sew it back up.
Here's Ron, who is afraid of a lot of things, including heights.
I couldn't get over that.
Not to mention blood.
I said, wait a minute. I thought you would say, no way. Yes, wait.
Wait. She gets excited. But are you really just going to abandon that now? Or, I mean, is there any chance of going back to that?
Well, I'm still a licensed doctor. So, I guess for me, the safer way is to remain a doctor. But I think, we only live once, and I want to do something while I'm still capable.
Right. I mean, of course, musically, you're charming people, but medically, you could save lives too, and those are two great things that you could do. So you have options in your life, really. But whatever path you choose, I'm sure you're going to put your whole heart into it,
Yeah.
But how does your family feel about this though? I gotta ask, because I think most people will be like, really, daughter, are you sure?
I think my parents are more worried about my well-being. Am I making enough money?
Right.
They don't want me to be like starving on the street.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah. Also concerned, maybe when I first came back, like that maybe I might get tricked by people, being too naive, not knowing the industry well enough. But I think now that they're quite proud of me. Actually, my mom says, she says she really likes my album. She listens to it every day.
Right.
She listens to it like really closely. It's actually alarming, actually. Do your parents listen to your show?
They do. And they disagree with the music I play all the time.
But, what do they study what you say?
They do. I think they do. Not always, but, from time to time when, they have time, they would listen and they would tell me, like, wow, I can't believe you're doing a show like this, although, it's great. But again, I think musically speaking, it's a different generation, and I would tell my dad, it's like, well, if you like it, maybe it's not the right music I should play. So, we have a different audience right here. I hope you understand, but he's still very supportive of it,
I think it's very flattering. At the same time, a little bit scary that, when your parents notice what you do.
Yeah, indeed. I don't know if you had to go through that because, like, and I don't want to talk about me too much, but, when I first started doing broadcasting, started in college, when the listenership is a small group of people. I mean, we're talking about 20 people, and that's, wow, woohoo, a lot of people are listening to your show back in college, right? And so they really didn't approve of what I'm doing because I'm putting so much effort in for something in return is little. But eventually I took it into, another radio station. Back then I was in L.A. I was a Chinese radio in L.A., and that was a bigger audience, but they still have, of course, something to say against that too. They're like, well, still, how many people were we talking about? 1,000? That's it, But now here at ICRT it's different. Now, how about you? I mean, musically speaking, how did you start? Did you start performing in Australia already back then when you lived there?
I studied music at school.
Okay.
So I was in the choir, I was in the school band, I played the clarinet. I was an art student all the way until the end of high school. In Australia, it's kind of like the same system as Taiwan, 联考. So then I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and my parents said, if you wanted to go into the arts, then we want you to have something you can fall back on.
Right.
So I guess that's kind of how medicine came about.
I see.
And so I guess my parents are open-minded enough. I don't have to be a doctor if I don't want to. But I think what they really would like to see is that, I have a stable life.
Right.
Stable lifestyle.
Financial security, of course.
Yes,
those are the things that are on parents' mind because they really, want your well-being, to survive in the future.
Eat 3 regular meals.
Okay, so do you now?
Yeah, I tried to.
Okay. You look like you need more food.
Really?
You do, yes.
I'll take that as a compliment.
If that's the route you're going, I think here in Taiwan, a lot of people like to be skinny, way too skinny,
Yes.
But I'm hoping that because your parents are actually still in Australia, you told me, right?
Yes.
So, even though they're, Australia is in about the same time zone here. They're only about 3 hours ahead of us, right? But it's still far away, so they must worry a lot.
Yeah. So, every time they ask me, one of the first things they always ask is, oh, have you eaten?
Yeah. 吃饱了没？
对，然后你现在都什么时候睡觉？Is it before midnight?
对了，是大家都会，父母都会关心的话题啦。
Yeah.
对。Let's go ahead and roll out another song right here that I understand you made a MV for this as well already.
Yes.
哇，好人。
Yeah.
这首歌呢就很有抒情味道，但是探讨在爱情里面当个好人是什么样子的状况。
我觉得爱情里面没有绝对的好人或坏人，因为我们都只是不想要一个人。
It's really hard to, of course, draw the line, yeah, in a relationship. Who's the bad person? Who's the good person? Who's the more accepting person?
Yeah.
It's a fine line, and it's just being you.
Yeah.
It's what's most important, and see if it works out, right?
Yeah.
So let's listen to this track, another well-written track here by Ollie on ICRT FM 100. 杭世轩啊，都不想一个人的，但是要找到对的人才对嘛，哦。
对呀。
好人 on ICRT FM 100. It is 7:53. Let's take a break and come back with one more song from Ollie right here, and then she's going to be part of this concert series, if you will, coming up on the weekend. Not this coming weekend, but I think it's the following one, right? It's the 15th right now. Yep, the following weekend, the 27th and 28th.
27th and 28th.
Yes, we'll have more about that in just a bit. Stay tuned. That's right. Go fighting. If you think that she's got a beautiful voice on the CD that we're playing right now, check her out in person, because my friends have been to your performances.
Yes.
And they all loved it so much. I'm sure you are a charm in front of a live audience as well.
Thank you.
In fact, the next chance for people to check you out is what I was talking about, right?
Yeah.
27th and 28th?
27th. We're playing on the 27th.
Right.
And this is kind of like a band festival held by The Wall and Xinwenju.
Right.
So there's 30 of us, and all of us have received 补助 from Xinwenju to release our first album.
I see. All right. So this is happening again the 27th and 8th, but your performance on the 27th, Saturday afternoon, 2 p.m. at Huabo Gongyuan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's right near Yuanshan area.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called 乐团曹成果演唱会.
Yeah. Please come and check us out.
All right. Ollie, it's a pleasure to meet you, and come back again with your guitar next time. All right.
I will.
All right.
Thank you.
You have a good night. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Ron Stewart is up next. I'm Joseph Lin. Have a good night.